Tonight we will be resting beside the boat that never left the harbour, where the sea moves slowly, lanterns glow with patient light, and time itself seems willing to soften. The harbour curves inward like a careful embrace, protected by long arms of stone that hush the wind and calm the waves. At night, the water turns dark and smooth, reflecting the sky so clearly it feels as though another world has opened beneath the surface. Ropes sway with quiet creaks, masts hum in low tones, and the air carries the mingled scents of salt, tar, and old wood warming after sunset. As you settle into stillness and let the day fade, subscribe for more gentle bedtime stories crafted for calm and rest. This harbour belongs to a coastal town that lives by tides rather than clocks. People wake with the light, work with the water, and sleep deeply once the stars appear. Boats are the town's heartbeat. Each morning they leave with the tide, and each evening they return, carrying stories shaped by wind, patience, and the open sea. Every boat follows this rhythm except one. It rests at the far end of the harbour, where the dock slips quietly into shadow. Its hull is strong and well cared for, its paint renewed whenever the salt begins to dull it. Its sail is folded neatly, repaired with careful stitches that show pride rather than haste. The rope that holds it is always coiled just so, never tangled, never frayed. The boat looks ready, more ready than many others, yet it has never crossed the harbour's mouth. Children grow up seeing it exactly as it is. Elders remember it no differently. The boat does not age the way other things do. It waits. No one agrees on how it came to be there. Some say a master boat builder shaped it years ago and vanished before its first launch, leaving the boat behind like an unanswered question. Others believe it arrived already finished, drifting in silently on a fog-heavy dawn, tying itself gently to the dock as if it had chosen the place. There is a name carved into its stern, but the letters have been softened by salt air and countless curious fingers. The word has worn itself into a suggestion, as though the boat has let go of its name and kept only its purpose. Over the years, explanations rise and fall like tides. Some claim the boat belongs to someone who never returned, someone who stepped away for only a moment and was carried elsewhere by fate. Others whisper that it waits for the right traveller, as one who has not yet arrived or who has arrived many times without realising it. A few insist there is a flaw hidden deep within its frame, though no crack or weakness has ever been found. Most people eventually stop asking and allow the boat to become part of the harbour's quiet presence, as ordinary as stone and as mysterious as silence. Life in the town flows around the waiting boat. Fishermen pass it at dawn, their hands smelling of rope and seaweed. Children play nearby, daring one another to touch its smooth rail. Travellers pause to study it, then move on. The boat remains unmoved by attention or neglect. It neither invites nor refuses. It simply stays. One evening, when the sea's especially calm and the moon hangs low and warm, a quiet traveller arrives in town. They carry little more than a worn pack, and walk with a softness that suggests careful listening. Their eyes linger on small details, the way lantern light trembles on water, the sound of footsteps echoing gently along the quay. After a modest meal, the traveller wanders toward the harbour, drawn by the way the night seems to breathe there. The traveller notices the boat immediately, not because it shines brighter or stands taller, but because the air around it feels settled, as though patience has learned how to live there. The traveller sits nearby and watches. The boat does not creak like the others. It does not tug against its rope. It rests as if it has already reached a destination worth keeping. Night deepens. Lanterns dim, voices fade. The harbour grows so quiet that even thoughts seem loud. The traveller closes their eyes and listens. Beneath the gentle sounds of water and wood, another rhythm appears, slow, steady, and familiar, like a heartbeat that has always been there, waiting to be noticed. The next morning the traveller asks the harbour keeper about the boat. The keeper smiles, not with amusement but with recognition. It belongs to waiting, they say. Many have tried to take it out. Something always stops them. The tide turns at the wrong moment, the wind softens, or a feeling settles in their chest, asking them to pause. The traveller nods. There is no urge to challenge this explanation. That evening they return to the dock and sit beside the boat again. They do not untie the rope or adjust the sail. They simply remain, watching the sky change colour as the sun lowers itself carefully into the sea. As darkness gathers, something subtle changes. The water around the boat grows smoother than the rest of the harbour, as if polishing itself. Reflections sharpen. Stars appear doubled, one set above, one below. The traveller notices that when they breathe slowly, the boat feels closer, not in distance, but in presence. A voice arises, not spoken aloud, but felt clearly like a thought shared by the night. It is gentle, neither young nor old. It does not command or explain. It simply says, not all journeys are meant to move forward. The traveller does not answer. They understand without words that the boat is not meant to be used in the usual way. It is meant to be encountered. Night after night the traveller returns. Some evenings they sit for hours, wrapped in stillness. Other nights only a few moments feel right. The town observes quietly. The traveller becomes part of the harbour's rhythm, like the tide that arrives and leaves without needing permission. Slowly memories surface within the traveller. Not dramatic ones, but small unfinished moments. A farewell spoken too quickly. A rest postponed too long. A choice delayed until it no longer felt possible. These memories arrive without blame. They float gently, asking only to be noticed and allowed to settle. One night, a thick fog rolls in, softening the edges of everything. The harbour, the sky, and the sea blend into one pale breath. The traveller steps onto the boat for the first time. The wood beneath their feet is warm, as though it remembers every hand that has ever rested there. The boat does not move, yet the traveller feels motion all the same, a shifting inward, like a tide turning quietly within. Images form slowly. The traveller sees themselves choosing rest without guilt, allowing stillness to be enough. They see themselves staying when patience is needed, listening instead of leaving, letting go of urgency that no longer serves them. Each image fades calmly, leaving behind a sense of quiet alignment, as if something long unsettled has finally found its place. When the fog lifts, the traveller steps back onto the dock. Nothing outward has changed. The boat remains tied. The harbour is still. Yet something inside the traveller has settled, like sediment sinking in clear water. At dawn, boats leave the harbour as they always do. Sails rise, oars dip, and the water accepts them without resistance. The traveller watches without longing. They understand now that movement is not the only measure of progress, and stillness is not failure. The boat that never left the harbour has been travelling all along, carrying lessons rather than cargo. Before leaving town, the traveller visits the boat one final time. They rest a hand on its smooth rail and feel gratitude rise without needing explanation. The voice does not return, but it is no longer necessary. The lesson has already taken root. Seasons pass. The traveller goes on, changed in subtle but lasting ways. They choose more carefully. They rest when rest is needed. They listen for what asks to be noticed rather than what demands speed. In busy places they remember the harbour's quiet. In loud moments they recall the smooth water around the waiting boat. The boat remains. Children still pass it on their way to school. Fishermen still glance at it in the early light. Newcomers still ask questions. The harbour keeper still smiles and says, "It belongs to waiting." Sometimes someone new sits beside it, and the boat welcomes them with the same patient silence. Years later, people notice that those who spend time beside the boat often leave differently than they arrived. They do not hurry as much. They speak more gently. They seem less afraid of pauses. No one claims the boat has changed them, yet the harbour knows better. On certain nights, when the sea is especially calm and the moon hangs low, the water around the boat becomes smooth as glass. Those who sit nearby and breathe slowly may feel something soften within them, as if a long-held tension has remembered how to release. They may leave without answers, yet lighter than before. And now, as your own breathing grows slower and your thoughts drift like boats on still water, imagine that quiet vessel resting safely in its harbour, not hurried, not forgotten. May it remind you that rest is not the opposite of movement, and that sometimes the deepest journey is the one that teaches you how to be still, patient and gently at home, as sleep carries you softly into the night.